Hello, everyone. Kim Kaiser here. I have a simple message that I want to share today. And I'm happy if you're here watching me. I'm streaming to several platforms today, as usual. And if you happen to catch this replay, definitely pop in and let me know that you were here. Let me know if you enjoyed the broadcast. And if you're here live, I always love hearing from y'all. So sometimes I can see comments, sometimes I can't, but I absolutely always appreciate that you're here. So, I am going to talk today about something that's been on my mind for quite some time, actually years, but I sort of went on a little roundabout from this truth for a while. And this truth that I'm talking about is that we only ever have one problem. Okay. Now, I know we feel like we live in a problem laden society. I get that. I know that a lot of people who come to me they describe a myriad of problems, which ultimately we do solve, right? So I take in a lot of different problems in my coaching and mentorship practice. But what I really see with crystal clarity at this point in my journey as a human, and my journey as a soul, and my journey as a business person, is that we only ever actually have one problem. And I was actually writing this to my list today, and I thought, oh, I think I just feel like I have to get on and talk about this live. And I'm going to share what the problem is pretty soon as well. But it's like this is bad news to to the personal development industry, by the way. So nobody really talks about this. I think even people who really understand what I'm about to say don't really talk about it because it's sort of like it has a way of, if a person really embodies this truth, their journey is complete in a lot of ways in terms of what they search for. Personal development, which is, I guess, sort of the industry I'm in, coaching and personal development is, you know, it it has people searching for answers continuously, really. Like, I think about the first time I hit personal development back in 2006, maybe. So I've been on this journey for probably 16 years at least. Um, like it didn't actually provide answers, it provided a path. Okay, those are two really different things. And I think for me as a coach, I don't really want to provide a path for people. I want to provide solutions, and I want to provide a way for people to get to the destination they think they're going. And so I think as part of the personal development world, we go on a lot of different rides. We go on a lot of different we go down a lot of different paths. And that's just sort of what I signed up for in this lifetime for whatever reason. It's not bad, it's not wrong, it's not something I regret. But what I want to bring us back to today is we're only ever having one problem, and I'm going to tell you what it is. And before I reveal it, it's not a religious problem. It may sound religious when I say it, but it's not. And this is the problem that we have, is that at some point along these journeys, it feels like we become disconnected from the divine. It feels like we become separate from God. Okay. It feels like that we're just disconnected from God. Now, notice I'm saying feels like and seems like, because in truth, we couldn't ever separate ourselves from the divine. It's not possible, but it can really feel that way. Now, when that happens, when we feel separate from the divine, from the creator of all, then that starts to sort of create a lot of other problems. And it does that very quickly. Okay. So we don't ever, most people, some of you all are really savvy. So you may already know this, but most people just start to, then when we start to feel separate from the divine, like all kinds of things can happen. We can get addictions. We can chase solutions and things that could never give us a solution. We might react in a really bad way that then causes a lot of other problems. This can happen a lot within businesses that I see. Um, there are all kinds of problems that crop up when we start to feel like destabilized, right? Because anytime we're sort of feeling separate from the divine, separate from God, then we get destabilized. But then that's not really the problem people think they have, because these other things that happen in this human world feel so big. They feel so, so big that that grabs our attention, and so the attention goes to solving the problem in front of us. Like, we see this a lot in marriages. I have certainly been in that camp in like in marriage, in relationship with other people, right? That I start to feel, yeah, separate some way from God, that God's not there, that the divine is not answering me or whatever. um and then I'll get in conflict with another person. I would get in conflict with another person, but it would look like the problem was the other person or the conflict with the other person. It wouldn't look like it was this feeling of disconnection. So I'm bringing this up today because it's just on my heart and soul. It's part of my life purpose, right? It's part of my life purpose. It's so like deeply ingrained in me. I can see at this point, but it's to live heaven on earth, which I feel like I am totally living heaven on earth right now. And like report back to the people of like, here's what's available to us, right? And do that through embodying my deepest truth, like really living in this perfection that we have, that's a body, that we often haven't thought that this is perfection. We haven't been taught that. Like, we have such messaging in this society. I know, for like my mom, God bless her, I love her. But like for many years, I'd show up at her house or whatever and would walk in and she'd say, "What's wrong?" Like, what do you mean, what's wrong? Like, I don't know. Like, I've always had this message coming to me about what's wrong. And it was just conditioning, right? That's just a habit she had. It's not a problem. It's not a criticism of her. But it's like, and then I would think, what is wrong? I go looking for something that's wrong with me or whatever. I don't know how early that message got deeply like ingrained in me, but it's not a message that I resonate with anymore. Like, I'm not ever looking now what's wrong with me. In fact, there are very few problems that I dig into these days, other than, am I feeling connected to the divine? Do I feel life force energy running through me? If I don't, that's the problem I try to fix. I know all other answers come through that, and that makes life incredibly simple. It makes life incredibly peaceful. It makes life incredibly satisfying. But when we run off and try to fix all of these other problems, we can't actually fix them sustainably, permanently, right? These are temporary fixes. They're not bad, don't get me wrong. These are incremental solutions. They're not bad, but people often find, like, in the personal development world, they might like heal something, so to speak, or they might have like an insight, a realization, and it like feels like it changes them in the moment. Gosh, and then a month later, 3 months later, 6 months later, back to feeling like, what happened? Wait, I thought I healed this. I thought I changed this. I thought I transformed this. No, that's when people transform or change secondary or solve secondary problems. That's what happens, right? Because this is not a permanent solution. It's not sustainable. So I'm just here today reminding us that we do have a solution, one solution that's sustainable, and lots of ways to get to that solution. Like, I help people with that a lot in my practice. I listen to a lot of different problems. And even I work on some problems with people that are what I'm calling here secondary problems. They're not the primary problem, right? The disconnection. But what I'm always sort of angling towards is helping the person, supporting them in seeing their way back to the feeling of connection to the divine. Like, that is the biggest game changer in life as far as I can see it. And this is a message that's come to me so many times over my life. Um, and I guess I just want to share this is I think the first time it came to me was when I was 8 years old. And I was sitting in church on Christmas Eve. And I don't know, I was thinking about whatever 8-year-olds think about. It was about presents and Santa, and how much I couldn't wait to get home. And I had some kind of special role that Christmas because I was, like, sitting up on the stage and I had, like, a robe on. So I may have been an acolyte or something, one of the people who, like, lights the candles or whatever. I can't remember for sure. But, all of a sudden I remember, like, here's the way I can explain it. And it's the only words I have, so sorry if it's a little bit out there. But, like, the love of God, the light of God, like, just shone through me, and I felt transported to another place in time where who I was perfect, who I was whole, and, like, I literally needed nothing. I just felt the connection to the divine, like, just rushing through me, and it was just, like, the most gorgeous feeling in the world. And some of you may have heard me tell this story before. So I came off the stage or platform, and I got in the car with my parents, and I remember peeking over the seat. This is back when we didn't wear seat belts. Okay, this was like the 70s. Like, you were a nerd if you wore seat belts. Um, I know some of y'all can't even believe that, but yeah, people were nerds if they wore seat belts. So we did not wear seat belts. So I'm peeking up over the bench seat of big, like, Pontiac Grand Prix or whatever it was. And I said to my parents, like, "I don't want any presents tonight. I don't want any presents. I don't wanna spoil this feeling that I have, that I don't need anything." And I don't remember specifically, but the feeling is they were baffled, of course, like, here's an 8-year-old who was hounding them about Santa on the way to church, and now on the way home from church, like, doesn't want any presents, right? And I don't remember for sure how long that feeling took to fade. It was probably by the next morning or something. But, like, that's the first time I had this message, truly, if I really think about it. That is the first time I had this message that, "Oh, we only truly have one problem. It's that we feel disconnected from God." Oh, thank you, Guffa. I hope I'm saying your name right. Thank you. I'm glad this is resonating. I appreciate that. But that's it. We only really have one problem. We feel disconnected from God, and then we might feel sick, or we might feel hurt, or we might feel we need healing. We might feel anxious. We might feel bad with other people. We may feel like our business is a big problem and what's wrong with these people, and, well, all that, right? And if we try to fix all that, again, we can do that. And there are incremental changes that happen. You know what I mean? Incremental changes that can happen that are helpful, but they're usually not sustainable and they're usually not permanent. And so I'm here reminding each of us today that we have a permanent solution. Get back in alignment with God. Start to listen to the divine. If you don't like the word God, sorry. Like, it just looks like that to me. I'm not using the word God in any religious context. I'm using the word God in the context of the creator of all, right? This nothingness from which we come. Okay. And so that 8-year-old story was the first time I felt this connection. I've had this connection happen several times, probably in my 40s, I would say too, but it was a long time in between, by the way, because I was busy solving my problems in my 20s and 30s. I don't know about y'all, but, like, I was busy solving my problems, and I had it hit me again in my 40s, and then I really started to, um, I guess, delve into that piece of the journey of, like, wow, maybe there really is only one problem. Do I believe that? And I spent some years kind of studying that and then really believing it, and then even one more time going out and kind of looking for other solutions, only to come back maybe about a year ago. And I think that's why I'm thinking about this today, is because a year ago I really promised myself that I was only on one journey, that I'm not going to go on these other journeys anymore. And that's been an experience to sort of, you know, put things out of like taking myself out of certain arenas, um, listening even on the things that I do participate in with really different ears, like not looking for solutions at all, like knowing that, oh no, I'm probably more in touch with the solution than most people. So there are very few people I learn from these days, very hand selected few, that I actually take in learning from, you know. So this is what I'm here to remind you. I'm here to remind you also that I'm here for support. I support people on this journey as well because, and I'm looking for one thing. I can help you with business problems. I'm really good at that. But like deeper, what my sole purpose is to connect you back, like show you how you can connect back to the divine, to source, to the energy of all that is. Right? Like that's ultimately my sole purpose. And again, that takes the form of being a business coach and a life coach and all sorts of different things. But I want to just remind you of that. Like, so if you can get back there on your own, absolutely do it. And if you want support, you can absolutely ask for help by just reaching out to me in whatever way. But this is the reminder today, because again, like I know the pain. Whoo, like I really know the pain of going on a journey, of like really feeling like I know the answer, like I know the most profound answer to life, and then getting sidetracked, getting my attention diverted to something else or to someone else or to somebody's interesting story or whatever, and then losing myself, and then coming all the way back around. But I think that that's also part of the journey for those of us who are way showing, those of us who are, you know, kind of leading the way, so to speak, of getting us connected back to God. I think sometimes we have to be on the path, go down a rabbit trail, get lost, and come back. And that even makes us, I think, more valuable, more essential to the collective. So I hope this has resonated with you all today. If so, comment. I love that. I'd love to know who's listening. If you're watching on a replay, absolutely, like, heart, make some comments, and I'll absolutely check in with you all. Until next time, I really appreciate y'all being here. Bye bye.